So back over here in our instance of Liferay, I need to go ahead and sign back in. So again, in order to sign back in, what I'm going to do is first refresh the page. So signing back in, so admin at livingston.com or livingstone.com. And then my password here is test. So once you've signed back in, what we're going to do is head over to the site administration. Now again, we always want to take a pause and we always want to know or be sure of which site are we supposed to be in. Right now I'm in the Hotel Americana, but I need to be in a different site. I need to be in the Livingston Hotels and Resorts site. So the way to get there is over in the site administration, you will see what we call the site selector. I personally like to call it the compass icon. And so whenever you hear the site selector, it's going to be this compass icon where my mouse cursor is going to be at. So once you found that site selector, go ahead and click on it. And once you do, it's going to open up this new window here. The first section that we see is showing you the sites that you've recently been to. So I've recently been to the Livingston Hotel and Resorts. So go ahead and click it. So we're going to be selecting the Livingston Hotels and Resorts site. All right, now that we've selected it, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head down to the content section. So heading here to content, followed by web content. So again, we want to be here in the Livingston Hotels and Resorts, content section, followed by web content. All right, now that we're here in the web content section, what we're going to do is we're going to click on that blue plus button or the add button. So clicking on the blue plus button over here on the right hand side, and then it's going to reveal two options. Now, typically we're probably going to create folders to make the organization much better. But here, just for example, let's just select basic web content. So I'm going to select basic web content right here. And we're just going to wait for it to load. So first things first, what we need to do is add a title. And so for this, the title is going to be Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia travel package. And then from there, we'll add a dash Bali. Okay. If you want to add a description, feel free to do so. You don't have to if you don't want to. So this could be something like all-inclusive stay at Livingston's premier resort in Bali. Don't need a summary, but if you want one, feel free to add one. Next up is the content section. Now, before we do anything here, I just want to highlight some of the cool features of this content section. In Liferay, most of our editors are what you're going to see here. We call it the Alloy editor. Now let's highlight a couple of features of the Alloy editor. So first things first is the Alloy editor is replacing our WYSIWYG editor from the past. It was actually replaced back over in 7.0. So no WYSIWYG editor for the most part. So here, what you can do is you can start typing some text, whatever text. And if you want to do some styling, you can do things like you can use the keyboard shortcut Control-B to bold. You can use Control-I for italics, Control-U for underline. You can use the same keyboard shortcuts to turn them off. From there, let's say you want to apply some styling to the text itself. You can highlight a single word and then a little bubble pops up. This bubble allows you to do the same styling that we mentioned. You can make this a numbered list, or you can make it a bulleted list, up to you. You can make this a link to a specific URL if you'd like, and then you can add some extra stuff there. Okay, right, and getting that menu back up. You can also provide some styling as well, whether a H1 tag or heading 1. Maybe you want to format this as code. Maybe you want to format it as cited work. Whatever the case is, you got a lot of different options there. So all of this is thanks to the Alloy editor. Now clicking into the editor one more time, we'll have the plus button here on the left-hand side. And the plus button allows you to embed things like an image. You can embed a video. You can also add a table and then a horizontal line. So each one of these allows you to embed something different. And then finally, maybe you have some front-end knowledge under your belt, right? Maybe you're a guru of HTML, right? Or you dream in CSS. That'd be kind of weird, but if you're good with front-end technologies, front-end code, you can enter what I like to call developer mode. To do that again, right? Let's get back there. It has this those two angle brackets with the slash. So by clicking this, it goes into what I call developer mode or code view. And then you can go straight HTML and CSS here if you want. You can go full screen. And what's cool is maybe you're kind of somewhere in the middle. You can type your HTML and it'll show you what it actually is here on the right-hand side. You can adjust the point of view, right? Or you can go full screen. And finally, my favorite feature here, you can turn on the dark theme. And one of those, weird ideological battles of is dark theme or light theme better? Of course, you and I know which one is better, so we don't need to talk about it. So anywho, let's go ahead and exit out of this window here, head back over to text view. Right, so that is the Alloy editor in a nutshell. And I think it's really cool to work with. A lot of neat things you can do with it. And so with all that being said, let's go ahead and actually work a little bit with it. Since we're not a full-fledged content course, we're not going to be doing a lot of typing here. So let's head over to our exercises folder. So my exercises folder is on my desktop. I opened it a little bit ago just to be preemptive with this step. So go ahead and navigate to your exercises folder as I navigate over to mine. Here in the exercises folder, right now we're in folder number 6. So almost done here. So inside of folder number 6, we're going to be opening the text file called travel-package. So opening up this text file right here. From there, my computer is asking me, how do I want to open it? I'll open it using WordPad. Most of the time, you're probably not going to have this. This is a brand new computer, so I have to work through that. All right, so we have some text about our Bali luxury travel package. All right, and so let's go ahead and copy this text here. So I'll go ahead and highlight the text. We'll copy it. And then let's head back over to Liferay. Right, so under the content section here in our web content, go ahead and paste the text that came from that exercise file. So I'll go ahead and paste it right there. And then we can do a little bit of formatting here. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to make this first line bigger, bolder. So we'll highlight the line like so. And for the normal drop down, we'll go ahead and click it. And then we're going to be selecting heading 1. And if it's going a little fast, feel free to pause to catch up. So we're going to click heading 1 right here. And it makes the first line much bigger. All right, we can do a little bit more here. So for the first list with the package included, what we can do is make each one of these a bulleted list, right? So pretty simple here. So we can highlight these 3 lines under the package includes, and then we'll select the bulleted list icon right here, like so. Okay. And then once again, included extras, we can head over here, select the next section here, and then we can make this a bulleted list as well. So makes it look a little bit better, right? And reading through the text, it makes me want to take a vacation as well. But we're here together, so we'll keep on pushing on. We'll take that vacation a little later. So next up, we have the plus button here, a little bit off to the left, or the add button, if you want to call it its proper name. So we'll click the add button over here on the left, and then we're going to add an image. So to add an image, it's going to be the circle with the triangles. I imagine it's a sun and a mountain there. So go ahead and select that one. And this allows us to select a file to add as an image. So now that we're here, what we're going to be doing is let's go ahead and click on select file. So clicking on select file, it's going to bring up our file explorer. I'm going to click on the up arrow here to go up one level. And we're going to head back over to our folder number 6 here in the file explorer. So heading over to folder number 6, and then we're going to be selecting the image of Bali. Right, so go ahead and select it. We'll click open, and then we'll wait for it to finish loading. Once it's finished, go ahead and click add. Okay, and there we go. We see that the image, at least for me, may not have been added in the best place. Right, so you can move it around if you want. Right, so you'll see the cursor show up, and you can move it towards the bottom, or maybe you want to move it higher up. Completely up to you as to where you want it. Maybe you want it below the package here, like so, right, to kind of grab more attention. Completely up to you. And I'm not really the content guy, so it's hard for me to give strong input as to what looks best. So whatever looks best for you, right, looks best. Anywho, so we can go ahead, once you're satisfied with everything that you've done here, you can click save. Right, if you want to do some more, you can do more too. You can play with it. So we'll go ahead and click the publish button. So once we click publish, right, we're good to go. Now, as we discussed, when we create web content in the site administration, for the time being, this is where it is. So right now, only we can see it, but we want the world to be able to see this, right? We want people to head over to Bali to experience, the great things over there, like sunshine and tropical paradise and things like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to head over to the site itself. So what we're going to do is click on go to site, and we still want to be here in the Livingston Hotels and Resorts. I know I sound like a broken record, but again, it's very, very important to be sure. So we're here in the Livingston Hotel and Resorts. So what we're going to do here is we're first going to remove the content loader widget that we have on the page. Again, moving your mouse cursor into the content loader, we're going to click on the options button over here on the right hand side. And then once you click on the options button, we're going to be selecting remove. Once we select remove, it gives us an are you sure? And then we can go ahead and select OK. Okay. Now from here, we're going to click on the plus button up here on the top right. Now from here, you have two different options. What you could do is select the web content display widget, add it to the page, select the web content to be displayed, and then it'll be displayed. But that's a lot of work. And so there's an easier way to approach this. So what I'm going to first do is collapse the widget section, and we're going to be seeing the second section here called content. Go ahead and click the content section to reveal it, and then you'll see the Southeast Asia travel package over at Bali. So what we can do is take that content and drag and drop it onto the page. And so wherever that dark blue line ends up, go ahead and when you're satisfied with where it is, just let go. All right. So we placed it on the page, and looking at it on the page itself, well, kind of looks okay. Right? Maybe I should have put it at the bottom instead of up here. On the editor itself, it looked pretty good, right? But we see here on the page, could use a little bit of work, right? So if we wanted to, we can spend some time to work through that, right? I trust that by now you know how to get back to where we were with the web content. Right? If not, that's okay. Just feel free to rewind. In any case, back over here, there's a couple of other things that we can do as well. So far we've created web content and we've seen how to display it. Let's head back over to our slides here really quick, and let's see the next thing we're going to be working on. So next up, we're going to be creating content using a page fragment. And we're not really going to create the page fragment. We're just going to import it and then see how to use it. So we're going to create and publish the page fragment, and then from there, use it and see how it works. So back over here in our Liferay instance, we're going to open up the menu. And then from the menu, we're going to go to the Livingston Life site. So to navigate over there, what we're going to do is select the compass. And then from the compass icon, or the site selector as it's properly called, we're going to select My Sites. And then from My Sites, we're looking for Livingston Life. And so for me, Livingston Life is over here on the right-hand side. Go ahead and try to find it on your end. And once you do, go ahead and select it. So over here in Livingston Life, the next place we're going to head over to build our page fragment is under the build section, followed by page fragments. So build page fragments, and then just make your quick mental note or mental check to ensure you're in the Livingston Life site. So page fragments. Right now, we see this section here. It says no collections yet. So in order to create a page fragment, you'll need to first create what's known as a collection. So a collection is just kind of like a folder for page fragments. So we first need to create that collection. Now, that's what we would do normally if we were actually creating the page fragments. What we're going to do instead is we're just going to import them. So to import them, what we're going to do is head up to the top right, up here with the options icon, and then from there, we're going to select import. Once we select import, we'll then click select files. And this is going to bring us to our file explorer, and we should still be in folder number 6, as you can see here on my screen. If you need to navigate over to folder number 6, just go ahead and do that. So we're going to be selecting the Livingston Life landing. And it's going to be a zip file. So we'll go ahead and select that. We'll then click open. Right, we're going to wait for it to load. It might take a little bit of time. And then once it opens up, we'll go ahead and click import. Right, it gives us the import has completed successfully. And then we can exit out or close the import collections window that we have right here. We're waiting for the page to refresh, and once it does, it shows us our first collection called Livingston Life Front Page. So we're going to go through each one of these and publish them. Right now, you'll see the indicator is showing us that it is a draft. So once we publish them, it'll be made available to us here in Liferay. So we're going to start here with the first one, main banner, and just go ahead and click on the name. And then once you do, you'll click publish. Right, and then we'll do the same thing for the other 3. So second one here, featured content, navigating into it. And then same idea, clicking on publish once again, up here at the top right. Right, and if you want to do this faster than me, right, feel free to. Next one here is call to action. We'll click publish. And then last but not least, testimonial. and then we'll click publish here. Right, and as you can see, this is pretty cool if you have the proper tool set, the proper knowledge to leverage this to its full extent. We're able to add HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create this page fragment here. We have a lot of control over what our content is going to look like. All right, so we have our page fragments all published. Now that we have them, let's go ahead and see how we're able to create a page using these page fragments. So back over here on the left-hand side, under the build section, we're going to be selecting pages. So Livingston Life is where we're at, build, and then pages. Once we're here, it looks pretty blank, doesn't it? So let's head over to the right-hand side, and we're going to be selecting the blue plus button. So once we click on that blue plus button, it brings us over to a page that we've seen before. And so we can either select widget or content page. This time around, we're going to be selecting content page. So we're going to be using those page fragments that we just published to create a page that's dedicated to content. So go ahead and select content page, and we need to give this page a name. What better name than home? So go ahead and call your page home, and then we're going to click the submit button. Once we click on this submit button, next up, we're going to click on the back button that's next to the menu. So this angle bracket there, and it shows us our home page. So from here, from the home page, we're going to select the options button that goes with it, and then we're going to select view. So this gives us the view of our home page using the template called content page. So what we're going to do here is over on the right-hand side, you're going to see Livingston Life front page. You can click on the drop down and it reveals each one of our different page fragments. From here, go ahead and add the page fragments in numerical order. So 01 is on top, 02 is below it, and so on. So I'll go ahead and click on the plus button here for the main banner, and it shows me this banner here. We'll go ahead and do the same thing with 2, followed by 3, and then 4. Okay, I just sounded like an optometrist there. So this is the power of the page fragment. All right, so we've created a content page. We put the page fragments here, right? And using our front end knowledge, it allows us to make the front end here or our page look really cool. All right, let's change up the theme of this, of the site, and then we can go from there. Before we do, let's go ahead and play with it a little more. So you see, I'm able to click into the text here, and then I should be able to add some text like I saw there. Moving the cursor around, right? You can add whatever sort of text you want, right? Let's see what else. I can style some of the text here. What else can I do? There's that discover button. I click it and you can see what it does or doesn't do. Right? And then you can do the same thing with each one of our different page fragments. Again, I'm not good at this stuff, but you can see somebody who is able to make our page look really cool. I just need to leverage this. Right? So if I want this banner on my pages, I can reuse this over and over again. Just change up the text a little bit, maybe change the background image, right? And it's pretty much mine. I can do what I want. So this is the power of page fragments. But in any case, before we tangent too long on this, what we're doing next is we're going to be changing up the theme of our site so it looks a little bit different. So let's go ahead and do that. So back over here, we're going to be selecting the menu option. Once again, we're going to be heading over to build, followed by pages. Once we're there, we're going to be selecting the options button all the way up here at the top right. Once we click on that options button at the top right, we're then going to be selecting configure. All right, once we select configure, we're going to scroll down a little bit and we're looking for the change current theme. So once you find that change current theme button, go ahead and click on it. And then last but not least, once we're here, we're going to be selecting this theme right here. And I'm always really hesitant to say this because I know I'm going to butcher it really bad. I don't know if it's the Ford or Fjord or Fjord. I just don't know. So go ahead and select it however you want to pronounce it. And then we'll scroll down and then click save. I'm sure a couple of you guys out there are probably like, it's pronounced like this. But unfortunately, I can't hear. So anyways, let's head back over to the Livingston Life site. So we're going to click on go to site right below Livingston Life. And let's take a look and see what this looks like. All right, so this looks actually really cool. All right, so this is the power of page fragments. Right? It gives us a lot of control over the way the page looks, and it just makes it look really nice as well. So yeah, I'm very impressed. This feels very modern. This feels like a site that's built today in 2018. So anyways, just think through what type of assets or what type of content are you going to be needing to create within Liferay? How are you going to display it? Are you going to use widgets? Or maybe you're going to be using a content page using page fragments. Whatever the case, right? Liferay allows you to create contents, allows you to create assets so that you can display them. However we display them, right, gives us the power to build out our sites. So 2 different options, and we can use both. So be sure to discuss with your fellow colleagues or maybe think through how our assets going to be helping you build out your sites.